Good afternoon. It is February 17th, 2021, and this is what we are looking at for the day. It was a downward it was a downtrend day, but really it turned out to be a range day with prices right now making it back up to uh the overnight highs. So, um yeah, definitely a range day in the end. But if you played the short-term trends, you should be good. You'll see I took a couple trades on the simulator. One of them was a good trade, and then one of them was not a good trade. But let's take a look at the live trades I took today. Both were good, nice and early. Both of them were, I think they were both like second entry long failures. So um, right here, we get this swing high. I don't think we had this channel drawn just yet. But clearly this downward trend had ended, so we got this move down to a new high, one leg, or new low, excuse me, one leg, two legs down to a new low. So I figured the reversal had started. We get a leg up, first entry, and I went long above this signal bar because this was the signal bar, but I used this one tick above this as my entry point. I actually came in late, so I put my stop limit one tick above this and got filled on this bar, hit my target on that bar. Then a little bit later, so we had confirmation of this trend line, and it looked like a nice upward trend. So you get this high, first entry, same thing here. It's a failure. It ticks one tick below this bar, trapping some people, and then it closes above it. So I entered there and got filled, and it's near the trend line and the EMA. So very, very good entries, and I'm very happy about those. But let's take a look at the ES today. Wasn't too sure how we were going to start the day off, but it was pretty straightforward. Before 6:30, we had this channel down, and we got a second entry short off the EMA and the trend line. That signal bar is a doji, but I mean, I think you have a lot in your favor here. It's off the trend line, it's off the EMA, and it's a second entry short. So I say take that, and it is a slightly bearish bar. So it is second entry off the EMA. I like that. Then here we get this break of the channel, and we get one leg down, two legs down to a new low, and prices reverse. And as you saw, we had some good entries on the regular ES, and you know what? I'm looking at it here, and you might actually want to take this. That looks like a second entry long to me. But you don't have a trend line drawn. That's the problem. But you do have the EMA. And here, unfortunately, you don't get a second entry here, but you do get a trap. So actually, I might take that once I see that go down, and you might actually have your trend line drawn by then. However, now that I'm looking at it, you would probably have your trend line drawn like that. Yeah, because you get a break, one leg, two legs up to a new high. But you might take this right here. Matter of fact, I should probably mark that as aggressive. That's a trap. We get the reversal, but prices are still on this side of the EMA. So when we get a first entry, a second entry with a nice low risk small signal bar. Sorry about that pause. I looked over and my baby was just chewing on the cord to my mouse, so can't have that. So yeah, you get this low risk bullish signal bar. I like that. It's a second entry. It's off the EMA. However, this high end of this trend line that turns out to be the trend line for most of the day. You are going long into that. But it does work out. You do get a scalp, and prices come down. And at this point, though, you do have that trend line drawn because you have it confirmed here, and then it comes and bounces again here. So that should be marked as aggressive. But we make the 2 legs down, and then we get this leg up, and this is a trap. And I like this. People going long into the trend line that's already been confirmed. So I do like that. It's just a lower high. So it's not a second entry, but I think that's a great place to go short. I would probably go short below this one, though. So you do get a nice move out of that. And then, okay, so I think I marked this as a failed second entry long off this high. First entry, second entry. And it's off the EMA, close to the trend line, and what eventually turned out to be important level for congestion. But we get the trend line break. We get this, keeps testing this level. I went short on the simulator beneath this bar. I should have kept my stop above that because this just really looks like it's about to break back into congestion. And all 3 of my targets would have been filled, but I got stopped out after the first target was hit because prices just came back up and hit my break-even stop loss. But it was a good trade. I really like these super bearish bars going back into congestion that close right above the range. I really like that. We get this sign that it looks like prices might get a counter trend upward breakout, and that is what happens. And this is, I guess, I was walking around with my son when I took this trade, and I went long. But you really shouldn't be doing that. You should be sitting down and focused, because if you're looking at the context of the day, this is a downward trend day. So this is counter trend, and I don't have anything marked. I don't have like I don't have the short-term trend line marked. So I mean, I would say it's probably like that. And it comes after the first break. You're expecting 2 legs down. So we get this break and, the new high, 2 legs down, and boom, that's when it reverses and goes the other way. But really, I mean, you shouldn't go long when prices have been trending down all day until it's clear. And this is just a higher low that I went long above. So it's just not a good entry. Get this big move down, big leg down. Looks like we might have a measured leg. No, I don't want that. I don't want. Yeah, almost to the tick. Goes a little further. That's 2 measured legs down. Unfortunately, you don't get an entry here. But then prices break into this congestion, and this is kind of like something that happened yesterday. I'd probably mark this as aggressive. But when you, even in a range, even if you get this awesome signal bar like this one right here, these are both aggressive. I really should have them as lime green. And you probably wouldn't know this is a range at this point, so these are actually really aggressive. You don't really know this is a range at this point, but I like these bars, but you got to wait on a lower high. And this kind of looks like a lower high, but it's the same price level, and the bar's kind of neutral. But yeah, we get this important area of support, and you get a little bit of a failure here. So if you go long one tick above that, when you see it breaks lower and then starts bouncing back, I'm okay with that. I like that. The only problem is it's going into the midline of the range. So then prices, we get a breakout, counter trend breakout, by the way, that holds for the rest of the day. So I probably would have went short. Well, if you're being aggressive, you go short beneath that, but nothing happens because you go one tick below it, and that just never gets hit. Here, you just don't. There's a second entry opportunity. Oh, never mind. It's actually a third entry. Looks like. Well, here's a trap. So this is a trap right here, but you just don't know what's going on. Look at that. That's just congestion. We don't know what's happening yet, so you can't go long there. But here we get an opportunity for a second entry long. Off the trend line or near the trend line off the EMA. You know what? Your trend line would probably be there anyway. Yeah. So that's off the trend line, off the EMA. Get a nice scalp out of that. Nothing here. That's just the first entry. First entry. Second entry. You could treat this like the second entry. That's a weak signal bar, but you could go long above that. And here's a trap. I really like this. Nice trap. People think the trend is over. They're going short, but it hasn't made its new high yet after the break. So I like that trap. And that's all we have for today. So I hope everyone had a good trading day, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. Thursday's pretty busy for me, but hopefully I'll be back.